The Bajaj Pulsar NS200 is a potent machine with a sophisticated liquid-cooled engine and a 6-speed transmission. Problem is, it hasn't changed much ever since its inception almost 10 years ago. We've already put out 2 videos talking about how the NS fares in the current scenario and against its rivals. That said, even though we have covered the NS fairly comprehensively, a few of you have left us some relevant questions in our comment section. And since we are all stuck at home, we thought this would be the best time to address those very questions. The first question comes from Jiva Ganpati, and he wants to understand the comparison between the NS200 and the RTR 200, mainly in terms of city usability. Of the two, we'd say the NS is definitely the more comfortable bike. You sit fairly upright with just the right amount of lean towards the handlebars. The foot pegs or the rear set are positioned lower, which makes more room for taller riders. The RTR's raised drive foot pegs are set rearward and higher, which makes for a slightly cramped riding posture, especially for well-proportioned or taller riders. The turning range as well is lower than the NS, which makes the RTR feel a bit tedious to maneuver in city traffic. But when it comes to engine performance, between the two, we'd say the RTR is a lot more usable in the city. The new engine tune offers a wider power band and a meatier mid-range, which means you don't have to work the gearbox as much as the NS200. The shorter gear ratios on the NS means you really have to work the engine to keep it within its power band, which only kicks in above 7,000 RPM. The next question is from Sumanshu, and he wants to know what's the top speed of the NS200. The NS200 is the quickest bike in the 200cc segment. It can easily sustain triple-digit speeds and clock a speedo-indicated top speed of 130 kmph. Although, you really need to ring the throttle and ensure you shift force 9,000 RPM to get the most out of the engine. The third question is from Prakash Shil, and he'd like to know why we haven't spoken about the NS200's perimeter frame in our last couple of videos. Sure, the perimeter frame on the NS is the most sophisticated setup in its segment. It's still taut and highly responsive, which gives the NS its great handling capabilities. However, a perimeter frame alone doesn't necessarily give the NS a handling advantage over the RTR, which uses a dual cradle frame. This is something the RTR proves really well, which we believe is the best handling bike in the 200cc segment. The next question is from RDX Gaming, and he wants to know if anyone else faced a problem with the ABS wire on the NS200. For us, it was more to do with the ABS sensor than the wire itself. The single-channel ABS system failed to kick in during our braking test, leading the front to lock up in an instant. Now, this could be a huge problem during emergency braking. We have given our feedback to Bajaj, but we believe this could just be a technical snag with our particular test bike, because when we got it back for a comparo, we didn't really face any issues with the ABS system. What we would have loved to see is dual channel ABS come in as standard on the NS200. Last but not the least, we have Minch Max Vlog, who says we need more technological updates on the NS200. Well, admittedly, this is more of a statement than a question, but we completely agree with you, and so will everyone else. The Pulsar NS200 hasn't changed much ever since its launch back in 2012, apart from of course complying with BS6 emission norms and Bajaj throwing in a set of new colors every now and then. What we would have loved to see is better build quality, an even spread of power throughout the rev range, a full digital instrument console, and a bunch of new features like LED lights, a slipper clutch, and perhaps grippier tires to get the most out of the perimeter frame. Some of these aspects may be covered in the upcoming Pulsar range, but with the new generation of Pulsars in the picture, does it really make sense for Bajaj to continue with the NS200? What do you guys think? Do let us know in the comments. And again, if you do like our content, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to ZigWheels if you haven't already. This is Gaurav signing off. Cheers.